Hi folks, in an effort to more clearly communicate my strategy for recording the documenting of time, especially as it relates to the data stored in the backend, I'm going to demonstrate a simple prototype I put together early on and try to explain some of the basic nuts and bolts that are necessary to create the minimum amount of data to document and record tracking of time. So I've got a list of tasks. As the user taps on the task, it generates an event that is stored as a document. In this case, under a collection called tracking in a project. And each time as the user taps on a task, and the idea is that it is as the user completes this or finishes this task and then moving on to a new task, not necessarily completing a task for all time, but simply moving from this task to a new task. They're going to use these task buttons. A tap of a button generates an event, and that event in the back end contains 3 pieces of information. This is an overly simplified model, but basically it's the duration of time, the name of the task, and a timestamp. The duration is calculated based on the time between the timestamp for this event, this task, and the previous timestamp for the previous task being documented in. And that information, that timestamp is being stored in what I'm calling a variable called p-time, which is at the project level. So the project level variable p-time contains the timestamp for the most recent documented task, documented event. So every time a new event is documented, generated by tapping on an event, this p-time variable is updated with the new timestamp, and then that is used to calculate the duration for the next event. So if I'm starting my day, that creates an event, and that event, the task will be start in this case. The duration is simply being passed through as a placeholder at this time. This prototype doesn't actually do the calculation. Instead, it just passes through the placeholder, which is a duration of 1, 2, 3. But then ideally, that calculation will be made and passed through. So each event contains the duration, which is calculated based on that new timestamp, the difference of it from the previous time, which is stored in this variable at the project level.